Hey everybody, it's Robert with the Secret Wine Society. We bring you everything strange, wonderful, and amazing from the world of wine. Speaking of amazing, you guys know how much I love white wines. I want you to love them as much as I do. I'm going to get you guys there eventually. That's what I drink mostly, especially when they're like this. Okay, so I have something really neat here. This is actually a Chilean white wine, and keep in mind a lot of those grapes there were cuttings from France back in the day. This is a Semillon, which is used in Bordeaux blends. It's a white grape, and some of those vines, especially the ones that were used for this particular bottling, are over 65 years old. You get some really neat bottles out of there. Semillon from South America, look for it. This particular bottle was made by what's called the Garage Wine Company. It sounds like something from California, granted, but this is completely different. This is the 2019, this is the Isidore Vineyard, Maule Valley. So that is about 155 miles south of Santiago. It's a river valley, a very cool site, old vines. And the neat thing about this wine, number one, they didn't make a lot of these bottles. It's like 1,500. Let's check the back. I know it's on here. It says here, bottle. I don't think it's the first bottle, but one of 1584. So they don't make a lot of these. This particular vineyard is worked by horse and by hand. So they go through every effort to make the best wine possible. So this spent 11 months. So 60% of the grapes are put into these giant amphora, and there's a traditional name for them down there, but they're basically clay amphora. The rest of it's put in stainless steel, but they leave it on the skins. Now that leads generally to a bigger white wine, usually a little more color, more structure, but 11 months. And I love Semillon number one. They do grow some up in Washington State, but I think this is special. So at any rate, let's give this a shot. Semillon, old vine, done in amphora from Chile. All right. I mean, just looking at this from a distance, I don't know. This looks rich, but I mean, I already kind of know, so maybe that's kind of ruining everything, but if I didn't know and I was just looking at this, I'd be like, looks pretty rich to me, but I think this is definitely going to need some air. But let's see. I think we're a little bit too chilly, but we'll let it warm up as we go. I'll tell you what, the nose on this is absolutely outrageous. It's like you're in a meadow. There's, I don't know, there's like pollen, there's honeycomb, there's all these crazy, rich, pretty flavors. It doesn't smell like any other white wine you've ever, well, maybe some of you are very astute. You've had a lot of really killer white wines, but still, some lanolin, it's very different. I mean, the Semillon they're growing in Washington State is very good, don't get me wrong, but it's not like this. Man. All right, I'll tell you, so between you and I, don't tell my wife, this is something that I would take home while I'm doing all the research to find you guys the killer wines. This is something that I would drink at home. Now, it's not cheap. That's why I said don't tell my wife. Don't tell my wife. But this is something that I would enjoy while doing the hours and hours of research to find you guys the killer deals. That's how I found this. So can I have a glass? I mean, don't tell her, right? I mean, you just get tons of like meadow flowers. It's insane. This nose is just, it just keeps giving. Let's give it a shot. I can't wait any longer. It is a little chilly. Hold on one second. I gotta have this at the right temperature. Which brings me to the point, don't drink your wines too cold. If you see condensation on the side like this, it's a little too cold. If they come out of the chiller behind me, they're about 40 degrees, that's too cold. But that being said, I would prefer that you chill them down a little bit too much, because I'd rather have you enjoy it as it enters that window where it's at its best temperature-wise, than have it too warm and just leap out of that window where you're not really enjoying it. Where this way you could enjoy it throughout the entire window. This would be several degrees where it's really kind of changing and giving you different things. But this one I feel should be just a touch warmer. I mean, it's just, you can just tell there's structure. All right, I think we're about ready. I'm going to fall over. That wine is amazing. But again, that's my type of wine. Some of you guys, if you're not into whites, you might drink this and say, what the hell is that, Robert? I'm not getting it. But I'm telling you, you will get there. It's intense. Great acid. I mean, and to be honest with you, I don't think this wine is ready. I think I would probably, and I do have more, but I'm gonna sit on it. I mean, I'm gonna try to sell it, but if you buy it, and you should, you need to sit on it, put it away, because I think this could last at least a decade. I mean, don't get me wrong, it tastes great now, but it's really gonna start giving up a little bit more, because it's a little bit, I just feel like being a little bit more mellow than it is now would improve it. I mean, I'm not complaining, it's delicious, but I have to be honest with you guys, I would probably wait a year or two on this at least before you even begin to drink it, and I would decant it about 2 hours. But even that, as it's warming up, I can't say it's unpleasant. It's a beautiful wine. It's perplexing. It's kind of magical, actually. You put your nose in. There's all these crazy things from your childhood when you were out playing, like kids used to do, right? I mean, reminds you of all those smells you had when you were a kid. All right, so if you guys want to have some kind of an insight into my brain, buy this wine and drink it and try to figure out why I love it so much, because I'm telling you, if you haven't had a really interesting white like this in your entire life, come in, I'll decant it for you, call me ahead, and yeah, you won't be disappointed. I mean, the skin contact gives it nice body. Right now, it's just a little too frenetic. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not good, but you could just tell. So what you learn when you drink enough in different styles and start to develop your palate, you can taste something and you could appreciate where it's at now, but also you can kind of see where it's going. And this wine is going to a very, very, very good place. And I want to be there when it's like really at its peak. And my guess is it'll last 10, but I think 5 it'll be at its peak, but it's gonna get better between now and then. Like I said, if you can't wait and if you don't know what this type of wine should taste like, and sometimes it's instructive to try something a little bit early and understand why it's early, right? So then if you're out tasting and you're considering buying some wine, you kind of know, well, should I buy a little, a lot, or I mean, when should I be drinking this? Because people trying to sell you wine, that's kind of different, right? You need to know yourself when that wine will be ready for your palate. What I'm telling you is they don't make a lot of this. Obviously, I told you, what, 5,000 bottles? It's drinking very nice now. You could do it, and it probably tastes better with a little bit of a decant, maybe 2 hours, maybe even longer. Probably if I left this out overnight, it'd still be amazing. But yeah, you just, you need to get into these whites that have this much character. I'm gonna drink it one more time. Just the herbs coming off the nose. It's completely outrageous. I'd fall over, but my wife is holding the camera. She won't catch me. She probably wouldn't anyway. But trust me, this Old Vine Semillon, it's outrageously good. And this particular company also makes a really nice Syrah, which I probably should have reviewed, but I couldn't. Well, I had to drink it, right? But it reminds me of a combination of maybe Washington State and Northern Rhone. Absolutely lovely. Anyway, if you guys are interested, this is not on the shelf. Just email me and either, try it now to see if you see what I see here, or just sit on it for a couple years and then invite me over. All right, just remember, I love you guys. Come in the shop. We need some energy. It's almost Halloween. Don't forget, if you're in the wine club, Sunday night we have the wine club pickup party. The kids will be coming over. This is like the best Mayberry town ever. They'll be coming around 6. If you're in the wine club, bring some candy and scare the hell out of these kids. You can dress up. You don't have to. I should make you guys, but I won't. But you could. It'd be great. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.